Hello and welcome everyone to this video on best practices for SAP Workflow Design by ZaranTech. But before we begin, make sure to subscribe to our ZaranTech YouTube channel and hit the bell icon to never miss any update from us.
Hello everyone. So in this video, we are going to discuss the concept of best practices in workflow design. Best practices for workflow design in our SAP. We already know that workflow is mainly used to automate the business process so that it can ensure the proper workflow. It can ensure the proper smooth flow of everything, any kind of thing that mainly happening in your organization. And the best thing is for their employees leave request, which can be approved which mainly approved by your reporting manager. But if your RM is on leave, you can automate the business process using this workflow concept in our SAP. And using that, what you can do is the leave will be approved automatically. So let's start with this best practices for workflow design in SAP. The first one is understand business requirement. So how we will be understanding our business requirement is we will be using we will be using the concept of requirements gathering. So conduct thorough analysis with stakeholders to understand business processes and requirement. Mainly we are required to discuss these things with the functional one who will be telling us what actually we need to do and what kind of workflow we are required to design, as we are the technical ones here. Then we have to define the objective. So clearly define what the workflow aims to achieve. We are required to clearly define what your workflow aims to achieve, and such as what your workflow aims to achieve, such as reducing process time, ensure compliance, or improving data accuracy. So these are the important concept that we are required to do. So we are required to define the objective, clearly define what the workflow aims to achieve, such as reducing process time, ensuring compliance, or improving data accuracy. That these are the things that we are required to do here. Then we have the second one. Second one is use standard SAP workflows. So we are required to leverage pre-built workflow. We already have various pre-built workflows which we can use. So utilize standard SAP workflows whenever possible. So whenever it is possible, we are required to utilize standard SAP workflows whenever possible to reduce customization efforts and ensure best practices. So it mainly ensure the best practices and so that we can use the leverage pre-built workflows. Then we have the customization only when necessary. So only we are required to customize whenever it is necessary. So customize workflow only when standard options do not meet business needs. So whenever your standard options do not meet the business needs, then we are required to customize the workflows. Then the third one, we have this process mapping and documentation. So detailed process mapping, for the detailed process mapping, we mainly create detailed flowcharts of current and proposed workflows. So we mainly create here the detailed flowcharts of current and proposed workflow using tools like SAP Solution Manager. Then the comprehensive documentation. So document every step, role, and responsibility in the workflow for clarity and future reference. So suppose you have created a workflow and after a month or year, suppose after a month or year, you are performing certain thing. What you will be doing here, that particular thing is mandatory here. So what you will do, you will simply use those particular workflow which you have built earlier. Oh, sorry, my mic was actually off. So use standard SAP workflows. We mainly be using the standard SAP workflows for utilizing their things that are already present there. Then customization only when necessary. So we'll be customizing workflows only when standard options do not meet business needs. Then process mapping and documentation. So see, detailed process mapping. So create detailed flow charts of current and proposed workflows. So we are required to create a detailed flow chart of current and proposed workflows using tools like SAP Solution Manager. Then comprehensive documentation are required. Then the fourth one which we have is workflow configuration. So proper use of workflow builder. So we are required, we already know the SWDD transaction code, which is mainly used, which is your workflow builder. And in this particular transaction code, what you do, you mainly create, configure, and manage your workflows here. Then we are required to use of workflow templates. So start and standard workflow templates and modify them according to your needs. So we mainly we can modify them as if whatever the requirements is there. Then the next one which we have is simplify and optimize. So eliminate redundancies. So we are required to eliminate the redundancy. You already know what is the redundancy. I don't need to explain here. So streamline processes to remove the unnecessary step. We can streamline the processes and to remove the unnecessary steps here. Then optimize the tasks. So break down complex tasks into simpler ones. Then manageable steps to enhance the efficiency. So we are required to break down the complex tasks into the simpler ones, so, comma manageable steps to enhance the efficiency. Then we have the sixth one, which is integrate with other SAP modules. So seamless integration. So ensure workflows integrate smoothly with other SAP modules like MM, SD, and FI to avoid data silos and enhance proper continuity. Then use of BAPIs and RFCs. So we can utilize business application programming interface BAPIs and remote function calls for integration purposes as well. The seventh one we have is automation and notification. So we can automate routine tasks. So use SAP Business Workflow to automate repetitive tasks and approval. So we can use these SAP Business Workflows to automate repetitive tasks and approval. Then the next one is timely notification. So configure notification and alerts to keep users informed about workflow statuses and required actions. So you can configure notification and alert to keep users informed about workflow statuses and required actions. Then the next one which we have is security compliance. So we can use authorization checks, implement proper authorization checks to ensure only authorized users can perform specific actions within the workflow. So we can perform the authorization checks as well here to implement proper authorization check to ensure that only authorized users can perform a specific action within a workflow. It doesn't mean that any user is coming there and they're doing whatever the action that they want. So authorization checks are very necessary. Then we have compliance standards. So ensure workflow comply with regulatory requirements and internal policies. So we are required to ensure the workflow comply with regulatory requirements and internal policies. Then the next one step is user training and support. So provide comprehensive training to users on new workflows. So we are required to provide the comprehensive training to users on new workflows, including hands-on sessions and user manuals. So we can use these particular things here. Then we have ongoing support. So establish a support system to assist users with workflow related issues and queries. So we can provide an ongoing support every time whenever our users require any kind of help. So establish a support system to assist users with workflow related issues and query. Then the next one which we have is the testing and validation. So we can perform the thorough testing. So conduct extensive testing of workflows in a sandbox environment to identify and fix issues before going live. So we can conduct extensive testing of workflow in a sandbox environment to identify and fix issues before going live. Then the next one we have is user acceptance testing, that is UAT. So involved end users in the testing processes to ensure the workflow meets business requirements and is friendly and is user friendly. These are the things we require. Then the next step we have is monitoring and performance tracking. So real-time monitoring. So we are required to use SAP workflow management tools to monitor workflow performance in real time. So we will be using our workflow to use SAP workflow management tools to monitor workflow performance in our real time. So these are one of the important concepts. Then we have performance metrics here. So track key performance indicators, that is KPIs, such as processing times, error rates, and user satisfaction. So these are the things that we are required to do for performance metrics. And the last one we have the is continuous improvement. So feedback mechanism, so implement a system for gathering feedback from users to identify areas for improvement. Then regular reviews, so periodically review and update workflows based on performance data and user feedback to ensure continuous optimization. Then we have a conclusion one. So implementing these best practices for workflow design in SAP will help you to create efficient, effective, and user-friendly workflows that align with business objectives, enhance process automation, and ensure compliance. So these are the best practices for workflow design in SAP. Thank you very much.